Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving deep into a topic I think a lot of us can relate to. Love.
And not just any kind of love. What happens to
Yeah.
love after the wedding?
Yeah, exactly. After the honeymoon phase. You know, when the initial excitement fades
Right.
and real life sets in?
Well, for this deep dive, we're turning to a classic, The Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman.
Have you read it?
I have.
Yeah, it's really insightful.
It really is. And it can be so helpful for couples who are,
Like so
struggling to understand each other.
Yeah, especially after years of being together.
So let's set the scene a little bit.
Okay.
Imagine you're on a plane. You strike up a conversation with the person next to you, and they find out you work with couples. They hit you with the big question,
Oh,
what happens to love after the wedding?
I could see that happening.
Right. And this person, let's just say they've been married 3 times,
Oh, wow.
and each time it's ended in divorce.
Hmm.
And they're genuinely perplexed.
Makes sense.
They just don't get why the love seems to disappear.
And you know what? That's a question a lot of people ask.
Yeah, for sure. I think most couples struggle with this at some point.
Absolutely. So how does Gary Chapman answer this question in the Five Love Languages? Well, his main point is this.
Okay.
We all have these love languages.
Love languages.
Yeah, just like spoken languages. We have specific ways we experience and express love.
Interesting.
And the problem is,
Mm.
a lot of couples are unknowingly speaking different love languages.
So like they're trying to communicate, but they're not on the same wavelength.
Exactly. And that can lead to feeling unloved or misunderstood, even if both partners are genuinely trying.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right. So Chapman outlines these 5 main love languages. Let's see. Words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch.
Those are really diverse.
Yeah, they are. And each one speaks to different people in different ways. And here's the big aha moment.
Okay.
Most of us have a primary love language.
Like a default one.
Yeah, one that speaks to us more deeply than the others.
So it's like our emotional mother tongue.
Exactly. And just like we learn our native language in childhood,
Right.
our primary love language is often shaped by our early experiences.
Oh, that's fascinating.
So, for example, if you grew up in a family where verbal expressions of affection were rare,
What?
but gifts were a big deal, it's natural that receiving gifts would be your dominant love language.
Because you learn to associate gifts with love and care.
Exactly. But now, here's a question I have.
Yeah.
What about those of us who didn't have the best examples growing up?
That's a good question.
Does that mean we're destined to struggle with love languages?
Right.
You know, if our childhood didn't exactly provide a healthy model for giving and receiving love.
Well, I'd be curious to hear what Chapman says about that.
Well, thankfully, he's pretty optimistic about it.
Okay.
He emphasizes that even if someone's childhood was tough,
Right.
they can still learn and grow in this area.
So it's not a life sentence.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It might take a bit more conscious effort, but change is definitely possible.
That's reassuring.
It is. So, okay, our early experiences shape our love languages.
Right.
But here's another big question.
Okay.
How do we figure out what our partner's love language is?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is.
Because if we don't know their love language,
Right.
all our efforts might be misdirected.
Exactly. And that's where the detective work comes in. We'll have to pay attention to their behavior, their words, and even their complaints. But we'll talk more about that in part 2 of this deep dive, so stay tuned.
I'm intrigued. Can't wait to hear more about those detective skills. Okay, so we're ready to put on our detective hats.
Right. We're on a mission to decode those love languages.
Exactly. So let's start by breaking down each one.
All right, sounds good.
So first up, words of affirmation.
Okay.
For someone whose primary love language is words of affirmation,
Yeah.
hearing compliments, words of encouragement, or just, sweet nothings.
Uh-huh.
It's like music to their ears.
Really? So those little compliments actually make a difference.
Oh, they absolutely do. It's all about those verbal expressions of love, appreciation, support.
I see.
Think about it. A simple, you look amazing today, or I'm so proud of you,
Yeah.
can totally brighten their day and make them feel really seen.
It's like their love tank gets filled up.
You got it. Speaking of love tanks,
Yeah.
that's another key concept from Chapman's book.
Yeah.
He describes our need for love as this tank that needs to be regularly filled.
I like that analogy.
And for someone whose love language is words of affirmation,
Right.
those verbal expressions are the fuel.
The fuel that keeps their tank full.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm getting it. But what about someone whose love language is acts of service?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Actions speak louder than words.
Right.
For these folks, it's all about going out of your way to do something helpful.
So like doing the dishes or taking out the trash?
Exactly. Or running errands without being asked.
Hmm. Those everyday things can really speak volumes.
They really can. It's like saying, I love you, but through action.
By making their life a little bit easier.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be some grand gesture.
Right. Right.
It's more about those small, consistent actions.
Being reliable.
Yes. Showing that you're paying attention to their needs.
Because like you're a team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for those whose love language is acts of service,
Mm.
those acts of service are the ultimate love currency.
Interesting. Okay, what about receiving gifts? That one always seems a little tricky to me.
Yeah, I can see that. But it's not about being materialistic.
Oh, okay.
It's about the thoughtfulness behind the gift.
The effort.
Right. It's a tangible symbol of your love.
I see.
It says, I was thinking of you.
So it could be a small gift, like their favorite candy bar.
Absolutely. Or a book they mentioned, wanting to read.
Right.
It's the thought that counts.
And that feeling of being remembered.
Exactly. Okay, let's move on to quality time.
Okay. This one seems so important these days.
It really is.
Yeah.
With everyone so busy and distracted,
Right.
for someone whose love language is quality time,
Uh-huh.
it's all about giving them your undivided attention.
Being present.
Yes. Engaged.
Mm.
Truly connected during the time you spend together.
So put away the phones, turn off the TV,
Exactly. Make eye contact, have a real conversation.
go for a walk.
Yeah. Or just cuddle up on the couch and watch a movie together.
But no scrolling on your phone?
No.
Mm.
It's about creating that sacred space where you can connect.
I love that. Okay, last but not least, we have physical touch.
All right. This one's all about expressing love through physical closeness.
Hugs, kisses, holding hands.
Yes. Cuddles on the couch, all those little gestures.
And make you feel warm and fuzzy.
Exactly. It's like
Well-
saying, I feel safe and loved in your arms.
And for some people, this is the most powerful way to feel connected.
It really is. It's a primal need.
Wow. So we've covered all 5 love languages.
We have words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch.
That's a lot to take in.
It is. But remember, we all experience and express love differently.
And the key is to figure out our partner's love language.
Exactly. And speak it fluently. That's how you build a strong, lasting connection.
So how do we do that? How do we become love detectives and crack the code?
Ah, that's a great question. And that's what we'll dive into in part 3 of this deep dive, so stay tuned.
Okay, so we know the 5 love languages.
Uh-huh.
But how do we actually figure out our partner's love language?
Right. It's like we need to become love detectives.
Yeah. Where do we even begin?
Well, first pay attention to how your partner expresses love to you.
Okay, so like, how do they show love?
Exactly. Do they give you lots of compliments? Or maybe surprise you with little gifts?
So it's like they're unconsciously revealing their own love language.
Yeah. Their actions can speak volumes.
What else? What other clues should we be looking for?
Well, think about what your partner complains about or requests often.
Like what they wish you would do more of.
Exactly. Do they always say, I wish we could spend more time together?
Or maybe it would be nice if you helped out around the house more.
Right. Those complaints could actually be their way of expressing a need.
A need for a specific love language.
Exactly. Like, for example, that frustration over a messy house.
Right.
That could be a sign that acts of service is their love language.
It's like they're sending us smoke signals.
Yeah. We just need to learn how to interpret them.
So we've got to pay attention to their actions
Yeah.
and listen to their complaints.
Right.
But is there anything else we can do?
Well, sometimes the simplest approach is the best.
Okay.
Just ask them. Have an open and honest conversation about what makes them feel loved.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, just say, hey, what makes you feel most loved and appreciated?
So don't be afraid to have those heart-to-heart conversations.
Not at all. It's about being vulnerable.
And being willing to learn and grow together.
Exactly. Remember, it's a journey,
Not a destination.
right? And as you learn to speak your partner's love language,
Yeah.
you might find your own understanding of love changes too.
That's interesting.
It is. You know, this whole conversation is making me think about my own relationships.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm always doing little things for my best friend.
Like what?
Well, baking her cookies when she's stressed or offering to run errands. Maybe acts of service is my love language.
It could be. It's funny how we often express love in the way we want to receive it.
Right. But the key is to become aware of those patterns,
And make a conscious effort to speak our loved one's language.
even if it's different from our own.
That's the beauty of this whole concept.
It gives us a roadmap to navigate those differences and build stronger relationships.
I love that. So, to wrap things up, let's go back to that question we asked earlier.
Okay.
What do you think your primary love language might be?
Take a moment to think about it. What makes you feel most loved? What gestures or actions really resonate with you?
And how could understanding love languages help your relationship?
Yeah. Not just romantic relationships either. Think about your friends, your family, even your colleagues.
Because love languages can transform any relationship.
Absolutely. It's about learning to communicate love in a way that truly connects.
Well, this has been an amazing deep dive into the world of love languages.
I agree.
Yeah.
We've only scratched the surface, but hopefully it's given you some food for thought.
I think so. So remember, keep exploring, keep communicating, and keep those love tanks full.
Great advice.
Until next time, everyone.